I do apologise for Lucia not being here. Lucia is managing director of a company called IMAGINARY, who are based in Milan in Italy. They're one of the leading serious games developers in Italy, involved in quite a number of European projects. Lucia was supposed to be presenting here tonight, but because she's involved in European conferences earlier this week, logistically it would have been almost impossible for her to get here. So because I work for her and with her in the UK through a company called GAME2GROWTH, she asked me if I would step in. IMAGINARY specialises in the use of immersive technology solutions in a variety of different areas designed at serious outcomes. So even though the applications themselves are intended to be entertaining, they are aimed at serious outcomes. And they work with quite a number of organisations, some quite big names in Italy. Some of those names may well be familiar with you. So they work with both the public and private and education sector, primarily developing games and other applications for training and learning. So that's the imaginary story. I want to just go through something of I suppose a personal journey to explain to you how I got involved in games and what my perspective of games is. And it's a purely personal opinion, but in that process I want to show you quite a number of examples of games and the way they're developing and what the likely future of games is. Serious games or games for learning are not new. We've learned through games since the dawn of time. Games have always been very important for the animal kingdom as well. These tiger cubs, they play fighting, but they're developing essential skills to help them survive in the wild. So serious games, although it's a kind of buzz phrase and used to describe what video games are being used for today, it's really not a new concept. Games have always been a very serious learning activity, no more serious than in the animal kingdom. Games also involved virtual worlds and social networks, and this became very important to me when I developed the Serious Games Institute. It isn't just about the game, it's about the virtual world is the world of my fantasy and my imagination. It's about engagement, and video games do tick all the boxes when it comes to engagement. In 2006 I was appointed as director of the Serious Games Institute, and when I started there was a real problem with the word serious games or the phrase serious games, because people couldn't reconcile game and serious. The expression serious games comes from this game, America's Army, which was developed by the American military as a way of recruiting young men into the army. That's the original objective. They paid quite a bit of money to get kids to play this game and encourage them to recruit, but they realised after a little while that it could also be used for training soldiers, and that's where the serious games industry began. So this is a picture from 2008 to give you some idea of the kind of ubiquity of people working in serious games. All of these dots represent an entry into the Serious Games competition in 2008, and today that globe will be much fuller. I was in Bilbao last week for the Fun and Serious Games Festival, and they had like an Oscars for games. So we had a red carpet treatment, driven to the event in a Ferrari, and it just shows the commitment of different parts of the world to games and the local economy. So the initiative that you've got here in Bath, focusing on the gamification network as a way of attracting people to set up incubation, this is going on all around the world, so it definitely is a good route to go. Just to talk very quickly about trends, important trends for the future. One of these is in personalisation. It's quite old, really old hat. This is in Guitar Hero, where you can choose your avatar. You can change the shape of his face or his head and make him look realistic, giving different kinds of clothes, and in the game you get rewards which include different kinds of clothing, most of which are far too young for me, but you personalise the game to your own requirements. What's happening today is that this personalisation is going on behind the scenes without you being aware. The artificial intelligence being used in games is being developed to hook you into the game, to learn about what you like in a game, what you don't like in a game, what you're good at, what you're not good at, and adjust the characteristics of the game to keep you hooked into it. And the same is being applied to virtual worlds and social networks. And in the commercial world, all these technologies that are being developed for games and virtual worlds are being applied here, where this is called the magic mirror, where you sit in front of your screen with a webcam and you can see what you look like with a fashion item on, fashion garment. So it merges these virtual objects with your physical objects, and can also enable you to design your own fashions and incorporate those and have something custom made to you. So all of these technologies find their way into many different areas, and the thing that is different about today is this prosumer revolution, the ability that all of us have got with a device that I'm using today to be able to create and communicate to a global audience. Doesn't come without problems, and one of those problems is that it creates the attention economy. You know, the most precious thing today is not necessarily our money, but it's our time. If you've got everybody in the world able to do this, and Twitter and Facebook, the most precious thing is our time and our attention. So whether it's learning something, whether it's buying something, the secret is to be able to engage people's attention and get them to stay loyal to you. And that's where gamification really comes in, because the tools and techniques, as Thomas Cook did, to make something exciting and interesting to use, to make it accessible and make it affordable, those are the secrets to success. So if you're developing, whether it's a social network site or a video game or a virtual world, these are the things to have in mind. And if you think to yourself, would I use it, or would somebody that I want to use it really use it? And the answer is, well, not really sure. Then the chances are, then they won't.